What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the Rock and Rivera channel? It's Rock and Rivera again, and today we're getting into traction bars. Now, I had a video lined up already for this, but I didn't post, so mostly because I forgot. But I'm gonna now that I have these bars here, because I dug them out of storage, I'm gonna show you why these might be the answer to the Nova's 70s really complicated traction issue that shouldn't be cow tracks, but it is, because cow tracks are easy to screw up. This is known as a slapper bar. Now, slapper bar has a very simple application. You bolt it to your suspension, like that with U-bolts, and the snubber that goes right here at the end, that will wind up pivoting up with the axle wrap and stopping right where the eyelet of your axle is, which in this case is right here. Now here's the problem. As you can see right now, that is longer than the leaf spring. So I'm going to have to cut this plate off. I'm going to then modify an old bracket and modify, well, maybe not the old bracket because I need that to sell with the cow tracks. But you can see the shocks are first off mounted straight up and down to that giant ass bar in there. And they have a weird spring plate on them, which is meant for the cow tracks. Which the cow tracks go in here. And I'll show you a cow track from the other side in just a second. But that basically has a bar that's adjustable to go from there all the way to there, where that indent is on the other half of it. And that goes into the leaf spring. And that little bolt is to stop the leaf spring from wrapping too much, which causes issues. Now, you have multiple different adjustments on that, whereas you only have one on this, which is the snubber. You can cut the snubber. And this is what people don't know. A lot of people don't know, and I found out myself through hours of video watching and tips and tricks and forums and everything. You can cut the snubber to give you more distance from here to the snubber height. And that's what allows you to have adjustment in your slapper bars. That's why it's also got mounts here, here, and here, because you can move the snubber forward or backwards depending on where your leaf spring is. Now, I don't have long enough leaf springs for this, unfortunately. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this to have a plate with a new axle plate that goes in here. Still hooks up to the shock, still leaves the stock, or well, stock when I got it, shock mounts. And yes, I know that rust is atrocious, so I'm going to stop showing it now, because it's just getting worse and worse. I need to do something about it, so I'm going to, eventually. Probably this year. Hopefully. God, I hope so. Anyway, but back to what I was saying. So this is a slapper bar, or mainly known as a traction bar, but they nickname them slapping bars because of the slapping motion when it hits the eyelet of the leaf spring when it goes full throttle. Now, the key thing is, when you wind up applying throttle and it moves up like that, the snubber must be the right height. You can modify the snubber, you can cut it down a little bit, but if you cut too much, you have to get a new snubber. So it's always good to, when you do this, when you put it on, lower the vehicle down, see how far the snubber is away, see how much tension you want on the snubber. Because when you floor it, that snubber is going to stop it from turning anymore, or stop the rotation of the axle from turning anymore. And that's what stops it. Now I'm going to show you the cow track bar. And everyone's like, "Oh, you need cow track bars on your Nova." No, I don't. No, I don't. You know why? Because that is a public opinion, and a public opinion is not what I need. I need scientific facts. So I'm going to be testing this for a while. So, you can see how it's supposed to be in there. I already got the other one off. But, that's how it's supposed to be in there. And the whole reason why the shocks are done like this is so it could fit coilovers. But it doesn't have coilovers. I didn't have coilovers when we bought the car. Why? Do not know. Do not care. It's over. It happened. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to remove this plate, these two plates, this bar, and that plate at the bottom of the axle, find a new axle plate, modify it so then it has the ability to take this shock and can still can be modified so that it fits the slapper bar, because I'm going to have to make the slapper bar go into that so then it reaches on the middle position right here. Now, granted, I could just buy a new set of slapper bars, but here's the thing. They were free. They were free and universal, and I don't care if I screw them up, because they're free. Yes, I could go buy a new set that's $200 to $300, and it doesn't look right. They're black. Some of them are chrome. Some of them have flames on them. Some of them don't have flames on them. Look, if I wanted to do it like everybody else, I'd go down to Summit, use the credit card, buy this car, buy all the parts for this damn car. But then I'd be like everyone else that walks into Summit Racing, and I wouldn't have built a car that would be worthy of the Hot Wheels name and the 70s period. So I'm going to make everything work. I'm going to make this stuff work. Yeah, it's going to be hodgepodge a little bit, but you know what? If I do this right, it'll be a beautiful hodgepodge, and it'll look fan-freaking-tastic. But as I was saying before, the CalTrac bars, they have an adjustment. You can turn this, and each end, it's like a tie rod end. It'll unthread when you turn this. So you turn this, and this end will thread out or in, and the other end will thread out or in at the same time, allowing this to basically have a ton of adjustment between the two, and that will allow you to either do wheelies or do burnouts. Most people put them on for show, and then they don't drag race it, or they do light drag racing with it. They don't do it hardcore. This is not a hardcore drag car, which is what these are for. These are for bigger and badder drag cars that this doesn't have that sort of motor. This doesn't have a 454 blown, big block, alcohol, screaming deuces, crazy thing. No, it's just a little 355. So I'm going to put slapper bars on it. And I'm still going to leave the big wide tires that I had because they look cool. Yeah, call me a poser. Call me a frickin' poser. So what? So what if I am? So anyway, that's the main plan, is get all this stuff out and replace it with those slapper bars, which I'm going to have to modify a little bit by getting another plate for the bottom of the axle, which will accommodate these shocks, which I'm going to have made. Or I'll make it. I don't care. I'll find steel, I'll start welding it together. Don't care. And then once that's done, this axle has got to come out, leaf spring's got to come out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a new leaf spring. Well, not get a new leaf spring, check the leaf spring to make sure it's still good, because if you see very closely, I have dirt track shackles in there because it sags. And that's not from these. That's from the rear leaf springs themselves. I mean, look at it. It's almost flat. And right now, it's not sitting on jack stands. There's nothing holding it up. And it's almost flat. That's not great. So, we're going to try and fix everything that we can. And only buy what we need to. But other than that, everything's going good on this. All you gotta do is make those slapper bars work. And yes, the CalTracs will be going for sale. And I just wanted to show you the difference between CalTracs and slapper bars. CalTracs is a name brand, but it's the one everyone refers to. Slapper bars, you can get them from Lakewood. You could get them from a bunch of different companies. But Lakewood is the main one that makes it by traction bar or slapper bar name. And they're the most well-known because they've been around since the 60s, I believe, after Bill Grumpy Jenkins made a pair for his Camaro. Or, yeah, it was a Camaro he drag raced, I believe. Don't quote me on this. I haven't studied up on everything. I've just been watching how it works a lot. A lot. But, so basically, one locks the axle in place and has very little give. The other one actually moves with the axle unto a certain point and locks in place. So slapper bars move it at a certain point and then stop when the snubber hits, so it has some give, so the rear end squats. CalTrac traction bars, this style with the adjustable center, those just keep it locked in place. There's no give to them at all unless you adjust them. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to adjust them without big-ass wrenches. And some of you are probably going to say, well, that's your own damn fault. You put them in wrong. I've tried adjusting them multiple times, sir, ma'am, whatever you want to be called over there watching this. I've tried adjusting them multiple different ways. I've tried multiple different things. And so far, what I've found out is they're drag cars. It's drag parts. It's just drag parts. So I want to get rid of all the drag racing parts out of this car and make it a proper 70s street machine. I'm not going for anything other than looks and light performance. It'll probably run like shit with the side pipes still on it. It'll probably run not very well. I mean, it'll drive down the street and it'll be able to do a burnout. But I don't know after that. We got to break in the engine see with this new cam and the new heads. But if it runs 14s, like even high 14s, I'll be happy. Because back then, 70s cars didn't get much into the 14s. Maybe like 70s American cars. This thing ran like 15.7 stock. Is what the best ET time I've seen from like a 72 Nova. And it had 275 horsepower. This is getting 400 horsepower. Somewhere around there. So we're going to see if I can beat that time. We're going to see what happens. But the main thing is make it look nice, make it drive nice, make it safe. Those are the three criteria. Drive nice, handle nice, be safe. In that order. Descending order. And I think it's going to work out good. So I will see you all in the next video. And hopefully by then I'll have stuff figured out and we'll see what happens. Bye.